middle three Halloween movies in the original eight, four, five, and six, that is, don't really seem to tie in very well with the one to H2O Resurrection. And yeah, that's a flaw on its behalf. I thought that if they would have done better job with tying it into everything, that it would have made the entire series more strong. But no, that doesn't really matter. Um, like it does tie in, but it's a kind of but people mostly think of it as its own separate timeline with everything. Jamie Lee Curtis is briefly mentioned, but it mostly just centers around Dr. Loomis and Michael's niece, who's played by Danielle Harris. Yeah, when Halloween H2O came out, and there was no mention of of Michael's niece Jamie. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why people often consider this to have its own little timeline. But it's okay. Let's just get straight into the movie as is. Halloween 4 is the return of Michael Myers, because there's Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which doesn't have anything to do with Michael Myers or Laurie Strode or Sam Loomis. And yeah, the whole idea of the Halloween series originally was to make kind of like anthology sort of things. But, after Season of the Witch totally flopped, they wanted to go back to basics, bring back Michael Myers. And frankly, I thought that they succeeded for the most part in this. This isn't really one of the more. This isn't really one of the stronger Halloween films. Okay. Let's face it. This is it's better than some of them, but it's not better than some others. This has received a lot of flack. The middle three have received a lot of flack for just being really run of the mill sort of things. Like this one right here, it takes place 10 years after Halloween 1 from 1978, and yeah, this one, it's a major rehash of the original. I could see people not liking this, especially when it first came out in the 80s. But I don't know. I I had a good time with this, and here's why. Okay, um, Michael Myers has this big presence about him. He's a very interesting killer, as the best ones are, like Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger. Yeah, Michael, he has this aura about him. He has this presence that is quite captivating. I always found. And we have Danielle Harris playing Jamie, who's Michael's niece, and in this one, Michael is trying to kill her. And yeah, even though it's been 10 years since the original killings, like movie wise, it's been 10 years. Um, yeah, Michael wants to wreak havoc again, but Dr. Loomis is the ultimate. He's the ultimate person that can destroy Michael once and for all. But of course, there's multiple Halloween movies after this, so obviously Michael ends up surviving. He's like the undead. Well, not really the undead, but he's like invincible, sort of. And yeah, I thought that the ultimate clincher for this movie, for me actually liking it as much as I did. I mean, I didn't love it. Let's just make that clear. But Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis is a very underrated character. I remember seeing whenever I actually see the original Halloween film from 1978, I always think that Donald Pleasance and Jamie Lee Curtis both should have been nominated for Academy Awards because they were that good. But Donald Pleasance in 4 and 5, it's been so long since I've seen number 6. I don't want to talk about that right now because I hated it. But when Donald Pleasance did Halloween's 4 and 5, he was even more on fire with this. He delivered way more intensity, and he's the ultimate clincher as to why these films are watchable. And what makes the movies actually good. If they didn't have Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis being all fired up and everything, I would have found this movie to be just as bad as any other run of the mill slasher film from the 80s. But because of Danielle Harris's talents and Michael's aura, and mainly Donald Pleasance's um, performance, which I thought was great, I'm going to give this film a modest three stars.